Hey, what's going on guys? Today we're going to be diving into the GoPro HERO6, GoPro's newest camera that they released last week. We're going to be looking at 10 features that I'm most stoked on. The first feature that I'm stoked on is the new GP1 chip. This is GoPro's own chip, so they own complete rights to it, so they can customize it, do whatever they want with the process. But this chip is super powerful, guys. It gives us twice the performance that the HERO5 did, so this allows us to have 4K 60, 2K 120, 1080, 240. This chip is the workhorse behind the HERO6 that lets us do exactly what we want to do with it. The second feature that I'm most stoked on with this camera is 4K 60. This has been something we've all been waiting for since 4K was first released on the GoPro Hero 3, I believe, at 4K at 12 or 15 FPS. 4K 60 lets us have the versatility of slow motion, but still having the full frame resolution that we all know and love. Unfortunately, we don't have image stabilization on it, but mounting it with a gimbal like the GoPro Camera, it allows us to have the smooth and buttery footage that we want without having to downscale your resolution to 2K 60 to get the image stabilization. Feature number 3 is zooming photos. Now we have the ability to zoom in digitally to get as close as we want to the action. Unfortunately, you can't do this with time-lapse mode, but you can do it with burst and single shot photo mode. In burst and in single shot, you can zoom in with linear field of view or wide field of view. Feature number 4 is what GoPro did internally with the HERO6. Now we have this thing called global tone mapping. This is where the blacks are darker and the whites are brighter. So as the GoPro is shooting your footage or photos, internally across the whole sensor, before the image is baked into your video file or photo file, the GoPro adjusts the image as if WDR or HDR was applied to it. This is across the whole spectrum, so you don't need any special settings. The GoPro does it internally on its own. The fifth feature I'm most stoked about is the new ISO settings. Before, the HERO5 was capped off at 400 minimum ISO. Now we have the opportunity to bring the ISO down to 100 and cap it off at 100. So I'll be using this ISO setting mostly during the daytime, but once it starts getting darker, like at sunset or early morning, I'll crank it up to like 400 or 800. But being able to bring the ISO that low is super essential for getting that crispy daytime footage. Now, alongside of zooming within photos, you could zoom the field of view within video. We can't do that at 2K 120. That's locked off at wide field of view. But bringing that FPS down to 60 gives us image stabilization, linear, wide, and super view field of view. So within linear and wide, we could zoom in the field of view. But at super view, the field of view is locked off, so we can't zoom in, but that's the point of super view. So you can get that tall frame within the 16:9 aspect ratio. The seventh feature I'm stoked about is a pretty small one, but it's really essential for me. Within burst and time-lapse mode, we now have auto white balance. Before, you can only go to like 3,000 all the way up to 6,000, and then the native white balance. Sometimes I don't use native white balance, like I said in my other videos. I love using that white balance. I use that white balance for sunset and snowboarding, but when you're out in the mountains or somewhere where there's a lot of brown, you want those colors to pop. So having that auto white balance helps tremendously to get those colors that you want. The eighth feature, which is one of the coolest ones, is being able to turn on your GoPro with your voice. So I can have my GoPro right here, and with the new firmware that they sent out, it's now possible with the HERO6. To be able to access this feature, you need to go into your preferences and scroll down to Wake on Voice, so you can turn on the GoPro with your voice. GoPro, turn on. There it is. This feature is going to be pretty sick, especially for having it mounted on your head, chest, or anywhere else where you don't want to fiddle with all the buttons. Being able to use your voice to capture everything changes the game forever. The ninth feature is a little bit more intricate and technical, but it's a new codec that GoPro released for your high performance frame rates and resolutions. It's called HEVC or H.265. When you scroll through the settings on the GoPro, when you go to 2K4 360, 1080 240, 2K 120, and 4K 60, it'll say that resolution with HEVC. With ProTune on, it gives you 80 megabytes per second. Without ProTune, it gives you 60. This gives you the best quality you can get. So now we have the opportunity to shoot our videos and then take stills that we can use as photos, and it'll still keep the quality that the photos have. At the lower frame rates and resolutions, the bitrate will be between 30 and 60, depending on if you have ProTune on or not. And lastly, the 10th feature I'm most stoked on is Quick Stories. Even though Quick Stories was out with the HERO5, with the HERO6, with all of the new frame rates and resolutions, your footage is going to be insane no matter what. And now with Quick Stories, you can transfer your footage to your phone with the Quick Key, which is a little SD card reader that you put into your phone, or you do it over wireless. Quick Stories makes the editing process super simple with templates that allow you to put in music and effects and share it to all your social media with the streamlined workflow. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these 10 features I'm most stoked on. Keep a lookout for more comparison videos and more in-depth videos as I start to use this HERO6 more and more. Yeah, take it easy. Peace.